No chair gag in today's video, friends. Unfortunately, I'm not long for this world. Well, I wouldn't be if it wasn't for Theraflu. Howdy do, kids. Den BMX here. I do apologize for the lack of long-form videos this last week or so. I've been getting my brakes beat off by something. I don't know. It's like a virus or something going around. It's been having its time in the sun with me. Yeah, for the past week or so, I've been fighting a pretty gnarly sinus infection. That's kind of the only way I get sick. It doesn't matter if I get a cold. It doesn't matter if I get COVID. I could get the flu. I could get ass cancer. And my one side effect is going to be that I have a violent sinus infection, and it is so fun every single time. Sorry for the long form video absence. I've just been leaving you guys with shorts for the last couple weeks, and I can tell you guys are getting a little sick of it. But today I'm feeling okay enough to make some kind of a long form video. A couple weeks ago, there were some pretty big announcements within the Balisong world that I've been wanting to talk about, but I didn't want to be sounding like a snotty little dork, so I waited until my voice sounded somewhat normal. And that big news is that in the year of our Lord 2024, two big knife-making juggernauts are going to be releasing new Balisongs. One of those brands is Cold Steel. I'm sure you guys have heard that name before. And the other brand is the literal reason why Balisongs are so often called butterfly knives. That is right. The artist formerly known as Pacific Cutlery, Benchmade, is going to be releasing a new Balisong this year. And based off how a lot of you voted in the Lovely Legacy category for the Balisong Awards, it's pretty obvious that some of you guys may not be aware how big of a deal that actually is. Some time ago, this brand Benchmade released a Balisong called the Model 42. Now, it also had some relatives. There was the 41, the 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and if you could believe it or not, there was even a Model 40. But the 42 was by far the most popular one. And that Balisong is kind of the reason why this Balisong community even exists at all in the first place. Similarly, during those good old days, Cold Steel had a Balisong called the Archangel. And the Archangel line of Balisongs was probably the closest competitor Benchmade had to the 42. And those Balisongs were discontinued quite some time ago. But one of them is going to be making a return. In 2024, Cold Steel is going to be re-releasing the Archangel, which I think is pretty dang cool. But from what I've heard, there are going to be some pretty significant differences to the original Archangel, so I want to check that out, as well as this new Balisong that Benchmade has come out with. They're choosing to not do what everyone else kind of wants them to do, which is just re-release the 42. I guess they hate making money, but for whatever reason, they are very against re-releasing the 4X series. But they are going to be releasing a new Balisong, which I honestly haven't heard very many good things about. But I have purposely kept myself from doing any sort of real research on these Balisongs because I wanted to give you guys my reaction and first thoughts to actually seeing these Balisongs and learning about their specs and all that sort of fun stuff. Did you hear that honk? I wonder if I can do it. I can do it. Let's get to reacting to these two Balisongs. I want to start with the Archangel just because I never expected them to bring back the Archangel, and I think it's really cool that they are. And yeah, let's see what we got going on here.
One more thing to take a look at here. It's still in the prototype stage, but expected this year, you're saying, yeah?
We'll have it this year. It should be probably around Q2.
Right there, they did say this Balisong is expected to be released around Q2 of this year.
The Archangel.
The original Archangel.
It does look exactly like the old Archangel.
Yep. Every single part. We've got S35VN steel on it.
Oh, wow. So they're going to put an S35VN blade on this thing.
And with the aluminum handles.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting combination. So instead of the handles being titanium like they were in the old Archangel, they're going to switch to aluminum, which is a choice. And then an S35VN blade. That's kind of crazy.
It's fully engineered from the original, like-for-like copy on every aspect of it in every way.
Okay, yeah, so they did say, I guess besides the material it's made out of, it's supposed to be like a one-to-one of the original Archangel.
So the latch is going to be on the other side.
Oh yeah, they've got the latch like Manila style. How out of touch is Cold Steel? Do they really think people are using latches these days? Especially like a standard like T latch? I mean, at least it looks like it's going to be pretty easy to take off.
The materials choices are going to be nice if you actually want to do more than just play with your Bally, if you want to actually cut stuff with it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, yeah, you're going to have a high-performing steel if it's got S35VN, but EDCing a Balisong with aluminum handles, I personally would not do that. Unless it's 70-75 aluminum, then it maybe might be strong enough to EDC, but still, like, I kind of look at all Balisongs more like toys than they are knives, because we play with them like they're toys. But, like, if a Balisong comes with aluminum handles, then I definitely look at it as more of like a toy toy than a actual like knife that you would carry every day. Like, I don't really think aluminum is strong enough for EDC. At least in my opinion.
And bushings in the pivot, because I know people are going to ask.
Correct.
Oh.
Very cool.
Yep, the original had it, so we're copying this one.
What? The original did not have bushings? That's not true, is it? Did the original Archangel have bushings? I really don't think it did. I guess they're done talking about the Archangel in that video. Okay, that was like 30 whole seconds. Let's go to Blade HQ's video on the Archangel.
Well, I've had my fair share of accidents with a battle song too.
Based on that closing, it doesn't sound very bouncy.
Great aluminum handle on it.
Nice channel on the aluminum too.
It's
So it's gonna be channel aluminum handles, but look at the sides of those handles. Look at how naked they are. It's just bare aluminum. I can already feel it flying out of my hands at Mach 7. Like, the faces of the handles look like they'll have enough grip because of the huge cutouts, but on the sides of the handles, when it's bare aluminum, that's gonna be slippery.
moved out of my elbow channel and underneath my muscles in my forearm. Now, I have zero feeling from this point, you know. So that's why he's
Careful there, bud.
Yeah, and one of the things I remember is the Archangel has the latch on the safe handle. I don't know the whole story on what that means in tradition.
I can't even answer that. I'd be lying if I said anything. I'm gonna
Like that. He's like, bro, I don't fucking know.
But I do know that the Archangels of yesteryear are highly collectible.
That is true. Like Benchmade 42s and Cold Steel Archangels, if you see them on the used market, they're probably for like a violently stupid price.
But it's back.
and it's made in the USA.
He said that like it means anything other than it's probably going to be more expensive than it needs to be.
Yeah, so Bally Flippers, don't do that, but rejoice.
Yes.
But this has been awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys for your...
That was a handshake. Is that it? Well, those were indeed all words. They didn't really get that in-depth into the specs, though. Luckily, Blade HQ already has up this little, like, coming soon kind of page for the brand new Archangel, and according to their website, the brand new Cold Steel Archangel is going to retail for $139.95. And that price is very interesting to me because it's aluminum handles, but it's supposed to have an S35 VN blade. That's like one of the more, like, premium blade steels. So that almost kind of worries me about the quality of the rest of the Balisong. Like, does all of that money go into the blade, and are they like cheapening out on the rest of the Balisong? I don't know. They don't, or do they specify what kind of aluminum it is? I'm not seeing that they do. Yeah, on the spec sheet, it literally just says aluminum. Yeah, I feel like if it was going to come with 70-75 aluminum, they'd make a point to say that, and they don't. They're keeping it vague. They're just saying aluminum. They're probably just going to be using standard 6000 series aluminum, which is okay, but if an aluminum Balisong is 140, I would hope it would come with 7000 series aluminum. But if you're going to be putting an S35 VN blade on there for 140, it seems like all the money is going to be going towards that. I don't know, man. These specs kind of have me a little worried. Like, don't get me wrong, I hope that it's, you know, great success, but right now it kind of looks a little concerning. And that's another thing too, it has tang pins, and that's a whole nother can of worms. So instead of it being Zen pins to where it's steel against steel, it looks like it's going to be a steel tang pin whacking against the aluminum handles of this Balisong, and all of that just kind of tells me the handle gap or the thigh gap on these Balisongs probably isn't going to last very long. It's kind of like that scene in SpongeBob where they're like, I'll give him a week. I'll give him 11 minutes. If you have a steel tang pin whacking up against aluminum handles as its stopper, that aluminum is just gonna give in, probably sooner than later. It's like you're trying to give it handle slap at that point. I don't know, and just the fact that like they're leaving it as the original Archangel design, but with aluminum handles, and they're not really doing anything to counteract the fact that aluminum is slippery as shit. Like, especially, like, they're just leaving the sides of the handles blank. Like, I have no problem with them bringing back the Archangel and giving it aluminum handles, because that is the way to keep it around the price that it was originally sold for. If you were going to make a titanium Archangel these days, it would probably at least be $500. But you can lower the price of that Balisong quite substantially if you use aluminum handles. The only thing is, aluminum is really slippery, so you got to do stuff to counteract that slipperiness. And yes, you've got these big, huge holes on the faces of the handles, which is going to help with the grip, but there's nothing there on the sides of the handles. I would have liked if they would have added some jimping on the ends, like just some big aggressive jimping, maybe a faux speed channel, or maybe just texturize the surface with something, because just plain aluminum with just the whole pattern on the front really isn't going to provide that much grip. It's just bare aluminum, which means it's not going to stay in your hands. I do like that they're bringing back the Archangel. I do like that it's going to actually be pretty dang affordable, especially if it comes with S35VN. This tells me that they're not necessarily aiming for the Balisong community to sell these to. They are aiming at the knife community in general, because they're focusing on the blade steel and not necessarily focusing on the things that's going to make this thing a good flipper. So that's the Cold Steel Archangel. Expect it in Q2 of 2024, according to that sales guy. Cold Steel, you may not like what I have said about your Balisong, and you know, that's understandable, but I still would definitely love to try one if you feel so inclined. But yeah, maybe I could get it in like a pass around or something. I definitely do want to check it out, because despite all the potential negatives that I see about this Balisong, I'm still excited that the Archangel's back, and I would like to see it be successful. But anyway, I think that's enough about the Archangel. Let's go on and check out Benchmade's new Balisong that they're releasing this year. It is apparently going to be called the Necron 99. Let's check out Everyday Minimalist's video on the Necron.
Now these are the ones that you're really enthused about, it sounds like, if you want to grab them on your side.
You know, Benchmade's logo is a butterfly. A lot of people that don't know about our heritage, okay, knives in your logo's a butterfly. It's kind of weird. What's that about? They may not realize that the brand was founded from butterfly knives, Balisongs. Founder wanted to make a really cool Balisong. That's how the company started. It's always been part of our DNA. But it's been a...
There's a lot of small talk in these videos, and the longer it goes on, the smoother the wrinkles in my brain get.
The needs of the Balisong community's changed, and so this is a new line for us. It's the Necron 99, and it comes in a couple different versions.
It looks like a replicant.
This first version with the dark red G10 has...
It looks like a replicant with like little zippy extenders on it. Like, look at that blade. That just... Tell me that does not look eerily similar to a replicant blade. And like, they just price gouged the shit out of the replicant. Like, don't get a stock replicant anymore, because they're not worth whatever fuck shit nasty price they're selling it for now. I think the top price a stock replicant should go for is like $300. That's it. That's really all they're worth, because they don't really put that much effort into like the QC and like making sure their tolerances are good and stuff like that. It basically just looks like Benchmade's replicant of a replicant. And you know, I wouldn't put it past them to sell it for even more than what BRS is selling the replicant for.
DLC battle washed S30V blade.
So these are S30V, not S35. I'm assuming that's still a pretty high quality premium blade steel. That doesn't get me excited about the potential price tag of this thing.
You know, we've observed, you know, the flipping community, if I can call it that, and what they're into and the things they're doing and the tricks. It's all so innovative, and it's really changed that world. And so what we wanted to do is provide a Balisong.
Those look like the zippy spacers. Like, they look exactly like the zippy spacers. That's sick.
I've got the dampener in there so they didn't fall out.
Oh, okay.
So I've got these little tungsten weights in here. So without the rubber dampener, these are going to move around. That's what gives you that clacking.
That's weird with those tungsten weights, how you can either have that dampener in there or you can run it without it, so that it purposely like clanks around. So it's kind of sounds like an older, shittier Balisong. That kind of reminds me of like the Relic guitar thing, to where it's like a brand new guitar, but they beat it up and then sell it. It's giving me that kind of vibe. I'm not against it. I love Relic guitars. That seems like a quirky idea, at least.
We wanted these knives to harken back that rich heritage of, you know, well over 40 years of Balisongs.
It says it wants to harken back to Benchmade's heritage, but nothing about this Balisong screams Benchmade to me. You know what it does scream? BRS replicant.
Old Benchmade, and even before Benchmade, the Pacific Cutlery Balisongs kind of had this signature skeletonization pattern. We put that pattern into the liners.
Oh, cool. They put the regular old Benchmade pattern where we can't see it. Oh, I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, it's driving me bonkers. I had to step away for a second there because I'm just so baffled at this decision making. Do you guys understand how easy of a dunk Benchmade could have had? Imagine a Balisong that's like the replicant. Just imagine if it was made by Benchmade, it had the Weehawk blade, and instead of this BRS hole pattern pattern, it had the regular Benchmade 42 hole pattern. Would that not hit harder than your stepdad? Seems like a no-brainer to me. And they obviously thought the same thing, and for some reason they just decided, like, oh, instead of actually showing off this hole pattern that is synonymous with our brand, let's just cover it up with some ugly plain G10. The choices they're making, I don't get it.
Kind of old school skeleton pattern is in there, and you'll see it.
I see that now.
Like, especially on the Jade G10.
Oh, that's fun. On the Jade G10 version, you can almost see it if you squint your eyes hard enough and, I don't know, put it up against the sun.
One of his favorite blades to grind was the Scimitar.
Wow, so his favorite blade to grind is the kind of blade that looks eerily similar to the Replicant blade. Like, the only difference between that Benchmade Scimitar blade and the Replicant Tonto blade is just in this little area right here. Instead of like having like such a hard line right here, it just kind of smoothly curves upwards. That's the only difference I can see between the Necron blade and the Replicant blade. Isn't that convenient? I'm so mad I don't even know how to talk anymore.
Now, these are latchless.
That's like the one thing I can commend them for in this Balisong so far, is that they're not bothering to put a latch on it because no one uses them anymore. Oh man, do I want to watch? I don't know if I want to watch the Blade HQ video. I think I'm just going to go onto their page so we can actually see how much this Balisong is going to be. So how much is this Balisong going to be? Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. I wasn't ready for that jump scare. Fuck my dick in the ass. $495. I was hoping I wasn't right, but it's more expensive than the Replicant. That price is ridiculous. Yeah, it's got an S30V blade, but it's still titanium liners with G10 scales. Like, where's... What? Okay. It doesn't even come with titanium liners. It has steel liners. Steel liners for almost $500. We really do live in a society. But no, guys, capitalism's so much better than anything else. That's definitely not the problem. It's moments like this where I think we might actually be living in the Matrix. Not like Andrew Tate's dumbass idea of the Matrix, but like, what clown show reality do I live in? Stick with capitalism, they said, and now Epiphones are $1,500, and a Benchmade Balisong made out of steel and G10 is now almost $500. Sick. That genuinely just hurt my feelings a little bit. And it's like, you know, if someone asks them why it's so expensive, they're gonna lean on the fact that it uses such a high quality blade steel. But let's see, we've got an S30V blade on a $500 Balisong, and then we've got an S35 VN blade on a $140 Balisong. I don't get it. I do not understand. I feel like I would get sued for slander if I was going to be as honest as I wanted to be in this video, because damn. We're going to segue to something completely unrelated. This has nothing to do with what I've been talking about. But there's been two little words floating around my head the past, I don't know, 20 minutes, and those two words are corporate greed. Are they all $500? Oh, there's gonna be a trainer version too. Hey, that's only $360. That's like the price of a stock Replicant these days. So cool. These days, you can buy a brand new standard stock BRS Replicant for $380. After taxes, it's probably gonna be like $400. It's not worth that, by the way. You're not gonna make that back selling it on the used market, but you can do that if you like throwing away your money, or if you want to throw away even more money, you can spend about $100 more to get a Benchmade Balisong that looks eerily similar to a BRS Replicant. It just has these handle extenders that look eerily similar to Zippy's handle extenders. It's just spec'd worse, but you know, it's got that S30V blade, so you know, we better be happy that it's not $1,000. I gotta get rid of those pages. I can't. It is having a genuinely negative impact on my mental health. I better not get a single fucking comment saying, oh, thanks inflation. That's what happens because of inflation. Darn that inflation, guys, am I right? Yeah, I would really like it for us all to stop letting them use inflation as a scapegoat. And let's all just be honest. Corporations are just greedy as fuck these days. I was hoping this was going to be a fun video. All right, well, I'm depressed, so I am going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I don't think anyone is going to particularly enjoy this video, but still, if you want to support myself and the engagement on this video, then definitely, once again, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions, share the video around, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We're on the road to 20,000 subs. Real quick, I want to give a gigantic thank you to Cosmic Steez, A Horse Running, Jet, Solar Flare, Jan Chocolate, and Bandage Knives. Fuck! Those are the current channel members, and their support really does mean a lot. If you want to join these guys, get a shout out in my longer videos, get access to occasional members only videos, and just help support the channel in a bigger way, and you can go down there, click the join button. Tiers start as low as 3 schmeckles. Or if you don't want to join a membership, there's also the super thanks button down there. It's kind of like a tip jar, one-time thing if you want to support the channel that way. But anyway, I'm done being a tool. I am going to go back to bed to try my best to ignore the fact that I live in a capitalistic hellscape. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.